Hey, good morning. All right, so this is probably about a 10-minute video going through what we call the goal-getting pyramid, which is something that we work with our groups and our one-to-one clients. And once we kind of really grasp the concept, it will begin to help you to understand why it's so hard to stick to your goals and your habits that you're trying to do, and kind of also highlight where you made mistakes in the past. But also, more importantly, it's going to give you some really practical tools that you can go away with after this and really make a difference to actually getting what you want and getting yourself unstuck. So, very typically, if we come to the very, very base of the pyramid, we have these kind of tactics, which is where a lot of people spend their time. And it's all the habits and the tips and the tricks, all the books, the DVDs, everything that you see on social media and on the TV and in magazines. It's all the kind of how-tos and all the things that you could be doing. So it's whether you should be doing CrossFit or Zumba or strength and conditioning or going to circuits, whether running or walking is the best thing for you, whether you should be going to Slimming World or Weight Watchers or calorie counting. It's all the thousands of books in Waterstones. It's all the millions of web pages with do this, follow this, and get this approach. Now the thing with when you focus on the tactics, you're only ever going to get stressed. So like I said, there are literally thousands and thousands of different ways of doing it. Each one of them has its own advantages and disadvantages, its pros and cons. We have people who are fanatical about it and will sing the praises, and it will have just as many people rubbishing it and slagging it off. So when you focus your energy and your attention onto the things that you could be doing, you're really asking for trouble. And this is where you're going to be relying on willpower. And this is basically your to-do list. So it's everything which needs doing. When your energy is here and you get your kind of reward and your satisfaction from here, you're going to subconsciously keep filling the list. This is why people are so busy and have no time, because all their mental energy is focused on the things that they could, should, ought to be doing. And it's just taking up a whole heap of their energy. Now, what we suggest is that we actually go a level higher and to what we call your strategy. Now, this is how you want to be. So it's really who you're being when you're doing these things. So the strategy is the approach that you take. So whether you prefer to be competitive or relaxed, whether you prefer the things you do to be structured or informal, whether you want to be that aggressive kind of alpha type personality who's kind of go-getting and driven, or a bit more relaxed, intuitive, a bit more passive. Whether you want to be logical or creative. Now, all of these things will begin to shape your approach. Now, for example, to make this a little more practical, if you like things that are competitive and kind of that alpha environment, and you really like being driven and kind of competition, then something like CrossFit would be right up your street, because that's the exact environment that they try and produce. If you want to be more relaxed and a bit more chilled, going to CrossFit is probably going to be the last thing that you want to do. Likewise, if you like things that are structured and progressive, then going to Zumba probably isn't going to be helpful. If you're very logical, if you want things to be, again, structured and spreadsheets and numbers and having things in order is your thing, then a calorie controlled, well thought out, well planned out meal plan is going to be your thing. If you're a bit more intuitive, then counting calories and counting points and that sort of approach is going to be really intuitive for you. And it's going to basically mean that you're going to be forcing yourself to use willpower. Now, we've mentioned before that willpower is basically doing things that you don't want to do. So the first step to kind of getting the goal that you want is to line up your tactics with your strategy. So the things that you're doing with things that you're being. So this is where you can also think about, right, do you want to be lean, fit, toned, strong, making progress? This is all part of your strategy. And the strategy will then link on to your true objective. Now, this is where the goal getting and goal setting thing goes to a different level that probably a lot of you haven't been to before. So your objective is really how you want to be living your life. So whether you want to be happy, have a sense of freedom, making progress, or having a purpose. Whether you want to have that quiet confidence, self-assurance, or that kind of show off, look what I've got type approach. Now that's completely up to you and down to you to define. But once we know your true objective, we can then begin to align all three levels up together. So your objective is really how you want to feel, the feeling that you want to get on a daily basis. So your objective is the feeling, the strategy is how you're being, and the tactics then become what you're doing. Too often we focus way too much on the tactics, ignoring or contradicting what we actually truly want to take as a strategy and our objective. And that's why a lot of us fail. So like I said, if we are calorie counting and restricting your portions, then, and your objective is freedom and feeling happy, you're in direct conflict between the two. Likewise, if your aim is to be happy and relaxed and calm, but you're forcing yourself to go to a real kind of in-your-face, aggressive exercise environment where you're really punishing and pushing yourself, it's unlikely for the two things to line up. So your desire to want to go back and to do it again is going to be really, really kind of waning. Now, every program, every single tactic works. So all the books and DVDs that you can buy, every single one of them will work to some degree. It will work for some person at some time. The real trick to success is whether you can maintain the consistency long enough to make a difference to you. And this is where a lot of people struggle. So hopefully now you can begin to see how the struggle exists when the three levels are misaligned. You're trying to make yourself do something that is completely opposite to how you want to be feeling. You may want to be relaxed and chilled and happy, but you're going through your whole day wound up, uptight, and picking fights. So look, here's the way we go through stuff. If you start at the bottom and you focus on your tactics the whole time, you are literally climbing the pyramid, you are climbing the mountain, and it's going to be very, very difficult for you to do and to maintain consistency. If we can start at the top and work our way down, it is so much easier. So the next step of the program that we're going to go through is to work out what your true objective is. So how do you want to feel on a daily basis? And then that will become your goal. Once you know how you want to feel, you can then decide how you want to be and how you want to show up and be seen by other people. Once you have those two aligned, you can then say, right, for me to feel and do and to be this way, what kind of things could I be doing? So if you want to feel that you're making progress in a structured, logical way, then something like calorie counting and a very well thought out, well balanced exercise program where you're planned down to the minute is probably going to serve you well. If you want to feel kind of connected to yourself, a bit more intuitive with a sense of freedom, and you like that relaxed approach, then that kind of exercise program and diet response isn't going to work for you. So we need to be working out what your objective is, what your strategy is, and only when you know what those two things are, can we then begin to think about which habits will tick those boxes. When you can do that, you'll find everything gets a lot easier. As ever, please make any comments in the boxes below if there's anything that you're not sure about or anything that you can have taken away from this today. I hope it makes sense, and say let me know, and we'll go on to the next part.